All right. We're in the Garden of Eden here. Let's get everybody in. Talking pinball. Beautiful day. Let's get this, share this link. Birds are chirping. We're live. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Who's in the house? And we got Brian Kaz. It's a holiday weekend, so we'll see. Might not be that many people joining today, but Harry Potter in June. We're right away we're talking Harry Potter June. Well, there's not much left to May, gang. It's June next week, so yeah. I think any guesses that Harry Potter's coming out in June are good ones. I'm here in the backyard of Kaneda in Rowayden, Connecticut. We have a little Memorial Day parade today. Some friends coming over. I mowed the lawn yesterday. Working in the garden, by the way, so therapeutic. Pulling out weeds all yesterday. Had a good time. Weather, as you can see, is beautiful. I do not miss living in New York City at all. Like, there is not a single day that I ever say to myself, I wish I was still in the city. I mean, I wish I got out of there 10 years ago and got these homes for a third the price. But you know, it is what it is. We'll never move. I always say this to Brenda. I love this house so much. I'm going to give it to the kids one day. If we make a lot more money one day, we'll get another house. But I'm not selling this one. This just feels like a little slice of heaven. I don't really want much more, to be honest. Watching Friends and Neighbors, the John Hamm show, such a good job of like articulating the inaneness of having a lot of money and the stuff people buy. Hey, Kill. He's waving to me. We're going to talk all about pinball. We're going to go around the horn today. We're going to talk about every manufacturer and what they have going on. Angry Alpaca. All right, we got Orbiter Albert in the house. Let me just go let everybody know in the Patreon chat we're over here. I don't expect too many people today, gang. People catch the replay. Want to thank all, what do we got? 600. We just keep declining. 682 subscribers. The goal of 800. We're going in the wrong direction. You know what it is, though? It's like when there's not much news, I always notice this. We always lose a few subscribers, but I think that for the most part, the content has been really fun. If you've been a member of the show, you've been enjoying the podcast. Played Evil Dead over the weekend. It's amazing. Lots of fun that game is. It's got a lot in it. I think it's going to be interesting, gang. My big fear of Potter, we're going to talk about it, is that Jersey Jack is going to aim for a game that's easy to build in volume. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of complex mechs. I don't think we're going to see a ton under that playfield. So time will tell, but if Jersey Jack needs to crank these things out every week, I think you're going to see a game that's more Guns N' Roses and less Pirates of the Caribbean. But Evil Dead is, it really is. I've said it before. Right now, as of today, it's the game of the year. And Spooky deserves a lot of credit. Hopefully those servos hold up. But really hard to find anyone who's like, I jumped on an Evil Dead and I didn't like it, or I don't see the value in it. It's one of those games where there's really not a lot of people complaining about anything. And I think that's good. There's this misconception that Kaneda wants to just complain about pinball, doesn't like pinball, doesn't play pinball. No, I actually really wish we had 4 to 5 Evil Deads out right now. Not like the same theme, but 4 to 5 games that were loaded, that had a lot of fun creativity in it, that looked stunning, and came at a price that justified how much people are asking for it. I think what amazes me about Evil Dead is really the theme is not really that great. My Evil Dead computer crashed after 4 games. Did you get a new computer, Hans? Like, good like, crapped out, gone, or just had to reset it? Curious to see what, let's just go around the horn in 5 minutes. Let's just let everybody come in, and then we'll go manufacturer by manufacturer. Does that sound good? And I'll let you guys decide which manufacturers we talk about. Wayne, what's up over there in Australia? Man, pinball sales overseas, tariffs looming over everybody. It's gonna get interesting. I saw there's already an Alice's Adventures in Wonderland up for sale after only 20 plays in Europe for like 14,500 euros. As like I've been predicting, you're going to be able to get those games easily once they start hitting US shores and people realize it's beautiful. I don't think you're going to see enough game there to justify the beauty. Yeah, really bad Aussie dollar. All right, gang. Who do you guys want to talk about first? You know all the manufacturers. We're gonna go and we're gonna just discuss everything going on with each one, give some thoughts, some predictions, some rumors. We'll talk about it all. Whenever consumer confidence drips, non-essential toy sales. Here's the thing, gang. Rich people don't have to think about anything. And by that, I mean, once you cross the threshold, I'm just going to say the threshold. I mean, anyone with anyone with liquid, more than $2 million in liquid assets, I don't think it's not, and that's not even that much money, gang, in today's world. Let's just bump it up to 5 million. Nobody has to hesitate on buying a pinball machine who has money, who has like real money. And nobody should be buying new in-box pinball machine who doesn't have real money. You should be investing your money and buying used games. I mean that, like new in box. Like you can't be buying new in box game. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't make half a million a year family income, you should not be spending $15,000 a year on a pinball machine. Like let's just, again, you could, but you shouldn't. Well, look, nobody who's smart bought a Godfather. You know what I'm saying? Like most people didn't buy a Godfather. Um, all right, gang, who do we want to talk about? Pinball Adventures. I'm not starting at Pinball Adventures. Guns N' Roses LEs are, gang, they're about to be $5,000. You know what I mean? They're about to be a $5,000 game. There's so many of them. All right, let's talk Predator. Let's talk Pinball Brothers. Thank you, John, for actually answering the question. So another teaser is out, apparently. And I think the fact that the marketing has turned on again leads me to believe that June 12th will be the date we get Predator. June 12th, 1987 was the day the movie came out. I think Predator is going to be interesting. This is a company that this will be the first theme they are handling that I think people are going to have high expectations. Remember, they did not make nor design Alien. That was Andrew Highway's company. They then went and made the Queen game, which remember Queen came out like right after Guns N' Roses, and it just looked dated. It looked a day late, a dollar short. I never hear anybody say anything about Queen. It just feels like that game never came out. And the same is true with ABBA. Another game that came out, barely could get 1,000 sold or 700 and something sold. Never hear people talk positively about ABBA. So you have a company that's basically known for not making good games. For lack of a better way to say it, they just have never made a good game. And now they're making Predator, which is a theme that definitely is a good theme for this demo. It's also a theme that has been, in the pinball world, has been at the center of controversy with the Kevin Kulik game, who basically was a moron who was making this game illegally. I just worry about the Pinball Brothers' ability to deliver at the same caliber of where other companies are at. I'm just waving at Killian. Now, that being said, out of all the themes coming out, Predator is the one that I'm the most excited about theme-wise. Absolute. Isn't it crazy, right? Like, if Stern made Predator instead of John Wick or Venom, they would have sold more Predators if done right. So, ABBA shoots well. So, I think, again, we're gonna see Predator in about 3 weeks. And, I don't know. I'm just the whole underside of the playfield tease, and I reached out to them. They know I'm excited about the game. I asked for any assets they can get me to help me, get people hyped, and we'll see what they give me. I doubt I'll get anything, like, early, but I'm excited to see it. I think everybody's excited to see it, and I think it's, you know, I if I had to guess, I don't think it's gonna crush. I don't. I'll buy one because I love the theme. Unless it really is, like, empty and just doesn't have Arnold. Is the tariff fear still happening with Predator? Yeah, sure. I mean, I think everyone's afraid of the tariffs. The, the tariffs will absolutely destroy the new in box sales from for all these companies that need to ship games from Europe to America. All right, so that's Predator. And all right. John Ehrlich at Jack Bar says King Kong Premium is amazing, and y'all are sleeping on it, and can't wait to see the sentiment shift over the rest of the year. I don't think so, John. John, because I'll tell you why, John. You are not evaluating this game as a home buyer. You're not and I know you're evaluating it as a pinball player. And yes, the game shoots great. No one's denying the fact that King Kong shoots great. It's just people know how much money it's going to lose, John. So, like, this is the part that I think John and everyone, like, is kind of having a hard time, that two opposing things can be true at the same time. That King Kong can be a great game that's also going to lose so much value. So, like, those two things will happen. And John, everyone is saying, yeah, I think the game is great, and I'll pick one up when it's $2,000 to $3,000 cheaper in 6 months. That's all we're saying. There is no one who's saying King Kong doesn't shoot well. There is no one who's saying King Kong isn't going to have great code, isn't going to be a lot of fun. What everybody is saying is, by the time the King Kong code is done, these things are going to be so much cheaper to get. That's it. That's all we're saying. Yeah, but John, here's the thing: the premium is going to lose 2,000 to 3,000. The pro is going to lose 1,500. They're all going to lose value, John. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one wants to go in new in box. You're making money on your new in box game by routing it, right? No, none of us are. So you're going to make a few $1,000s on your game, and if you decide to sell it, you'll be up, but the rest of us will be down. Well, if they make a Jaws 50th, like, let's just talk about Stern since we're on the Kong. If they make a Jaws 50th in a few weeks, you're going to see a lot of Jawses lose value. Who cares? Jaws is a great game. I don't necessarily like the rubber ducky shark, but Jaws as a total package, Jaws is a phenomenal game. It's based on a iconic movie, and I think it's like gonna Jaws will always hold way more emotional emotional currency with owners than King Kong ever will. No, Jaws does not eat the ball in the 50th. Yeah, I think, here's the thing about Stern right now. They're in a weird place. They're trying to, like they're not used to this. Like, gang, like, the amount of Kong LEs still available is comical, right? So King Kong LE not sold out. Keith Elwin is not driving volume. This game is not selling that well, right? So the Elwin army, the Stern fanboys screaming about it, doesn't matter. It's not selling that well because everyone is like, fool me once, fool me twice, not getting fooled again. This game, it's just there is a real, and I mean this, there's a real pushback against Stern happening with the new inbox buyer community. And these people are now they're just over it. They're over getting burned. And and I think they're gonna I think they're gonna keep speaking with their wallets. And I think it's they're content. They've got enough great games at home. And again, I don't think it's like thousands of people, but it doesn't take thousands of people. I think there's probably like a good 3 to 500 dudes that used to go in on everything that are now sitting on the sidelines. And those are the reasons why you're not seeing these insta sellouts of LEs anymore. It's also the reason why you're seeing just an overall slowdown because if you don't get that FOMO and that like frenzy at the beginning, then it never develops. And then it's like a market. I mean, everything once consumer confidence that that I have to have this now and like once you start thinking about it, I'll think about it. And then it's good. You go into the thread and you don't really care. Now the King Kong thread is all about some dude making a bracket, right? I don't know, some Vuck is not working right, and some dude's gotta manufacture his own bracket. So you're spending all this money, and Stern's letting the initial owners have to develop mods to fix the things that should have been fixed at the factory. See that thread? I'm in it. I'm reading everything you guys are looking at. Yeah, because Apollon, like, the thing is this, is, like, it used to feel special to get an LE. It doesn't feel that way anymore. I mean, Neil McRae's been, like, hammering this, that 1,000 of anything in this market is not collectible. He's not That's not exactly true. The problem is if you only make 1,000 of something, sure, maybe, but not 1,000 of this just different stickers, and then there's, like, unlimited premiums, unlimited pros, unlimited and the premium is the same exact game. It doesn't help. But it's fine. Again, I don't know about you, but I absolutely I love what consumers are doing right now. They're basically going to change the market, and they're gonna force these companies either to put a lot more in games and get much better themes, or they're gonna force these companies to lower the prices. It just can't keep going the way it's going. Everybody knows that. Stern knows it. It's not a negative thing. It's just a new reality. And I think that's the other part too, is this weird pressure within the community that like we have to buy because if we don't buy, pinball won't survive. And that's not true anymore. Like the boutiques will happily take all your dollars that you normally would spend a Stern or a Jersey Jack machine. Let's keep going. Let's keep going on to Stern. Really, really, really concerned that The Walking Dead is the next remake. And the heat around that rumor is very significant. And so, where heat, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I just think if Stern remasters The Walking Dead, I don't care if they do comic book artwork. I just think that game is just not gonna move the way Metallica did. And then, the other thing too, you just torpedo everyone who owns a Walking Dead's value. And again, what's the point? Why do we need to remake Walking Dead? There's not enough demand for that game. It never was. I get the code is good. It's a Lyman Sheets game. I get it. But otherwise, that game was never it was never that great. Like, and the layout's not great. The whatever, the barn that opens up with a big face inside it. That's the dumbest toy I've ever seen. Why would the head be the size of the barn? I've never seen, I think, worse scale orientation in a mech than that. At least just when it pops open, have a zombie figure that's, at scale to the barn or something. But that look is so stupid. It doesn't matter though. Um, I just don't think it's gonna sell. And like the Stern's next game to me is kind of so important because Elwyn didn't deliver the sales they needed on Kong. So I mean, but they're going to Star Wars and Pokemon. So like they've got the two biggest themes this company will ever have had. So this is gonna be like really interesting. I think I think everyone's over Kong already. I do. I think everyone's just like, Kong, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all just like, all right, 3 months from now, we get the next game. I think everyone's gonna feel that way. I don't think people are gonna really care about like following Kong code updates, except for owners. And we're on to the next. Harry Potter is also gonna make everybody move past Kong real quick. Um, all right. So Stern, I think their next 6 months are gonna be like mission critical to get another huge hit. Let's go over, let's talk about Jersey Jack. Jersey Jack, Jersey Jack, Jersey Jack, Jersey Jack. Harry Potter hasn't leaked. I've heard 2 rumors from sources I trust. One said the game is packed. The other said it's more of what we've seen over the last 4 games. I don't know what to believe. I do know that I tend to believe that it's gonna be more of what we've seen recently. I I I don't feel like if they wanted to go back and load up, they would have made it a wide body. They would have, I don't know. It's not Toy Story 4 reskinned. I always worry about Jersey Jack games because as I said, and I firmly believe this, I don't think they have a chief creative officer over there. I think Eric maybe is that guy. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think he's been answering homework assignments now. Like, he's not a huge Guns N' Roses fan. He wasn't a Pirates of the Caribbean fan. He never saw the Godfather movie until after he was assigned the game, I believe. This is the first game he's ever made in the history of his career as a designer in which he loves the theme, in which he feels a personal connection to the theme. That's to me the most exciting thing about this game is that I know there's not going to be a disconnect. And I know when you answer an assignment, the difference you're going to get in ideas versus actually getting to design your dream theme. So I'm excited to see it. I think we're all tired of waiting. I think there's nothing else to talk about with it. I don't think Steve Ritchie's game is going to come out even in 2026. I think we're going to see nothing but Potter. I mean that. I just don't. I think this is it. They're just going to make this game for a year and a half. The art on King Kong reminds me of Ripley's Believe It or Not, and that's very okay in my book. John, I don't think people love the King Kong artwork. It does look very Ripley's. It just, I don't know. I like the translate on the LE. I do. I just wish that same artwork was on the playfield. It's not. And I think they could have done a better job with the layout of the art on the cabinets. I just, again, that airplane propeller looks weird. It just, I don't know, something about it. It just, it's not, I don't know, it's not a beautiful game to look at. It's not bad. It just feels more comic booky and not timeless and not iconic. I guess that's the best thing. Kong is an iconic IP. Like, this isn't just does not look iconic. Um, whenever I hear people be like, Jersey Jack needs a hit. No, they don't. Billionaires don't need to worry about their $20 million, $40 million pinball operation. You know what I'm saying? No, they don't. They have thousands of millions of dollars. Right? If I gave you $1,000 and I took 40 away, are you feeling it? Are you hurting? They're fine, gang. They're fine. Yeah. I hope it's a hit. I do. I hope so for Eric. I hope so for Jack. I hope so for this company. I hope they finally, um, I hope they finally hit pay dirt, because I hope it's a hit game sales wise, and it's also a game that people like really love. Because I think Guns N' Roses, the story on GNR, it's a great jukebox. It's a terrible pinball machine. And I think that's accurate. And I think, people come over and you crank it up to volume 11 and you play a few songs. It's fun for casuals, but man, it's not the kind of game where you're going to, as a pinball lover, you're going to come back and want to jump on it a lot. You're just not. Yeah. So Rogue Cyber Soldier said they don't have to put in the effort. I do feel there's a little bit of that at JJP. Like, what's the point? We don't need this to survive. And because of that, they're not making decisions that are the right ones. Because you don't pick Avatar, you don't pick Godfather, you don't pick Toy Story 4, you don't pick Elton John. If you really need to make a hit, no. Well, yeah, Stern's telling people to throw Mylar down on top of their chipped play field. So they're both pretty bad when it comes to warranty. Gang, if you read your pinball contract on all these companies, there's no warranty from anybody. You literally buy a game and you have no protection at all. It's like the moment you turn it on, your warranty's voided. All right, so we got Jersey Jack, Harry Potter. Um, yeah, really curious to see how it does. I am. Now, one of the rumors I've been reading lately, and maybe somebody knows this, we might have some distros here, that they are going to limit the collector's editions to 1,000. Do you think they've changed their mind on that? Or do you think they're going to make unlimited window run of these things? What do you think? I mean, I was hoping they'd be limited, but I heard that they're not. But who knows now? After this, they've now had a good month to hear the feedback on that, decision, so maybe they changed their mind. It's an easy decision to adjust. It doesn't require anything. So, some people have put deposits down, but, like, it's weird. Um, I don't know. I I guess what I'm confused about is dealers don't know what their allocation is yet. And also, like, nobody's supposed to be taking deposits. Like, Jersey Jack won't allow deposits to be submitted. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they never officially opened up the order banks for the game. So I don't know. Now you remember what I said initially, like, if it was limited to 1,000, I said that Harry Potter CEs would sell for 18 to 20,000 right away. But I don't know now. So, you know me. I mean, I wanna grab one if there's only gonna be 1,000. I don't wanna grab one if there's 5,000. Not right away. Again, yes, because this time I'm allowed to speculate and make a little money. We'll see what happens. I mean, no none of no pinball speculating now is like, it's over. Like, it doesn't really exist. It's not also just not fun anymore. It's not fun anymore. Like, it all used to be much more fun. It used to be easy. It used to be, and we were all less greedy. We weren't a-holes about it. Nowadays, it's like, I don't know, the whole thing has turned into, like, you can't scalp anymore. Everyone's crying like babies. You can't test the market on anything. The only thing you're allowed to do is buy a new inbox and lose a ton of money. That's the only thing you're allowed to do. Anything else, make a game, just scalp it for money, people go nuts. They scream to all high heaven about you. Well, my boys are 1 year old and 4, so they love Paw Patrol and milk. So or formula. So, like, Albert, you know what you need to tell your kids, though? "Sorry, we can't afford this." I mean, I heard that the whole time I was growing up. It it's an expensive machine. Um, alright, should we talk about, I mean, spooky, there's not too much to say. Evil Dead is doing great. Beetlejuice is next. Um, can I give you guys what I heard is after Beetlejuice? Can I just give this to you now? Is it an exclusive? It's just, am I gonna is no one else gonna say I said it? Is someone gonna write a story or go on Pinside that they said it first? No, it's so what I'm hearing from a very trusted source who knows people over there, and now, Franchi's teaser on the box makes sense. Spooky's next 2 will be Beetlejuice and then Gremlins. So they have the Gremlins license. And wouldn't that be a sweet holiday treat to release Gremlins? And I heard that if you get the game wet, another game pops out of it. So 2 iconic, nostalgic, fun, campy Brian, when you say who wants Gremlins, I mean, I would take a Gremlins pinball machine. Brian, I think you underestimate the value of 80s and 90s nostalgia with this audience. Like, who wouldn't want a Gremlins? You got again, just thinking about what makes a game fun. Look how much fun everyone's having with Evil Dead, a theme that's not as much fun as Gremlins for most people. It's hard to you can't say Evil Dead is more fun than Gremlins as a pin because you haven't seen the Gremlins pin. I would assume there will be Gremlins 2 in it as well. I could see them letting you pick one movie or the other. They're both gonna sell out day one. I don't even I think getting a spooky game is harder to get than a Stern LE moving forward. I mean that. I think Spooky's next 2 games are gonna be harder to get than a Stern LE, than a JJPCE. Why would anybody want a Poltergeist pinball machine, guys? Like, that movie, I get it, but it's not fun. It's not a fun movie. It you know what? They know now. It's all about the campiness that matters, not, like, and look, and Friday the 13th is campy, so is Nightmare on Elm Street, but what's not campy is Poltergeist. What's not campy is, like, Saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. Like, it's just why why doesn't Spooky go to an unlimited model? Because they don't wanna go out of business. Because who would buy? What Joseph, think about the inaneness of what you just said. Why would they do that? Why would they just tank the secondhand value of all of their games? What, to make people happy 3 years down the road? Because the only people you're making happy then are the newbies who come in years after the game came out. But sorry, newbie, you gotta go find one used, and that used game's gonna hold a lot of value. Why would they say we're gonna make an like, gang, Joseph, this hobby, man. Like, that is the worst move a boutique could make, is to say, "We're gonna make as many as people want for the rest of our company's existence." Okay, so then nobody buys. Why would they do that? But why would they do that, Joseph? Why would they, 5 years down the road, just tank all the value of people who bought their products? Why? They didn't even come close to selling out of Evil Dead until, like, it started to feel like there weren't gonna be that many left. But they're doing it right. They're doing it right. They're doing it right. And when they pushed higher, a Scooby Doo, nobody wants one. You know what I'm saying? Now you want them to act like Stern and have a pro and an LE model. Joseph, you are literally waking up with the worst ideas imaginable. You want this company that's in the driver's seat, doing everything right marketing wise, to adapt a model of Stern that is basically got Stern's in big trouble now because of they have no perceived secondhand value whatsoever on any of their models now. So no, Joseph, seriously, I don't know what the day job is, brother, but don't go into marketing. Don't give pinball companies ideas. You don't you could type all you want, brother. I'm just telling you. It's just a bad idea. All right. So let's talk Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. One's up for sale after being played 20 times. Hmm. Oh, this game continues to be like, mm, it's like, yeah, I'm look, Melvin's a really good friend. One of my best buddies in pinball. Speak to him almost daily. Right? He knows what he made. I know what he made. And it's just if you appreciate the game for what it is, not what it, and don't look for it to be something it isn't, I think you'll enjoy your Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. But, and this is a big but, it won't be a collectible. It won't be hard to get. It won't be sought after. It doesn't have a story or a pedigree. It will always be a little bit of a strange game to own. Okay? Just just the truth of it. It's a novelty item. He knows it. That's why he made it. He didn't make it to have code like a Stern. He made it to prove that he could turn this styrofoam white, foam core game that had a beautiful art package into something working with, playable code and real mechs and, take John's doodle and turn it into a working game. And he succeeded in doing that. My whole background's a Predator tease. That is what Alice is. It is it saved Dutch pinball. Yeah, it's amazing to me that people don't realize that is really the real impact of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. It's not about making John's foam core into a real game. It's the game that saved Dutch pinball and made it so that Dutch pinball can survive to get to Back to the Future because they had nothing, and demand for Lebowski is over, and they would have gone out of business because there would be nothing to make for a year. And their burn monthly would have been like 150,000 euros a month to make nothing. So thank you, Melvin, for saving Dutch. And we're going to get Dutch's Back to the Future. They're making Back to the Future. They did not sign a deal with anybody. Both Jersey Jack and Stern were very interested in trying to acquire the license. And Barry just wanted more money than they offered. I think it's not even about the money. I think it's just about the pride and the legacy and just the sense of like, we're not like them. Like we do games differently. I expect a really interesting Back to the Future game. Yeah, I mean, Stern would have just like thrown in Elwin, Zombie Yeti, and Nagel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Stern would have just like for. I just feel like Stern Back to the Future it would just end up looking like a comic book for some reason. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I just feel like it would just been like this ultra colorful rainbow comic book looking version of Back to the Future. Franchi, what's interesting, and welcome to the show, Franchi. What's interesting about Stern's passing on that title is is really, I don't know about you, man, and the rest of you guys. I still don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like I don't know, understand like if George even ran that opportunity by the design team. I feel like the entire decision was made in a vacuum somewhere. And nobody how did nobody be like, what why would we pass on this? Like, I don't understand. And I think they're gonna kick themselves because I don't think they're gonna sell as many Pokemon as people think. And I don't know. Star Wars has got a lot of pressure riding on it. Well, they were they were trying to sell to Gen Z kids, poor kids. It's like the generation that time forgot. Put all these kids in front of social media. They're not nostalgic for movies the way we were. They don't need to be. Like, they're instant access. It's crazy sometimes when you're on Netflix and you see just how much content there is. Like, these kids can't sit through a 2-hour movie. And it's not like they're all watching the same movie, and the movies don't forge indelible impressions in them, and, they're just they're so distracted. When we watched Back to the Future for the first time, there was no internet. We went to the mall to see it. We saw it like 8 times. When it was at Blockbuster, we rented it. We watched it another 100 times. When the second movie came out, it blew us away. We saw, like, special effects, and we saw things that we never seen before. We dreamed of hoverboards. We dreamed of Pepsi Perfect. We literally all wanted a sports almanac. Like, and the way these movies back then just connected with everybody. And wasn't just like Back to the Future. It was like you're talking like a decade of just incredible music and movies and optimism, and the all of it is connected. The fall of communism in Russia, the Berlin Wall, this feeling of like the most amazing decade, one of the most amazing decades in all of humanity. And Gen Z kids, you got to remember, they're born in the 2000s, post, you know, they were born in a post 9/11 world. Then they experienced a recession. Then they got terrorism, and then they got social media, and like all of it on top of each other. And it's like it's miserable decades for them. For the rest of us, like, we still have the nostalgia for the '80s and the '90s, but these kids don't have that. So, like, all they have is, like, what was put in front of them, which was basically a cell phone, right? You ever see people watch, like, on TikTok? It's like, do you ever watch anybody just, like, death scroll for, like, 2 hours? It's, like, just this scary thing to watch. Just, like, this endorphin releasing, like, you're just constantly on to the next, like, vapid thing about something you're into because it knows you, and using AI algorithms to just distract you, and then before you know it, you spend 2 hours. Nothing, you didn't really have many emotional reactions other than the endorphin releasing addiction to that kinda snackable content. You're watching movie clips cut up. You're watching sports moments cut up. You're watching car clips cut up. Everything's just like this is like abbreviated, edited version of something. And so, you're not going to watch The Wolf of Wall Street ever, but you'll see the clips from it. We're memifying every movie. So they're not going to watch Jaws, but they might see a little clip of it. So it is what it is. Pinball's for us old geezers. Um, all right. But to put a bow on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, I don't think they're going to make all 500. I think you'll see more like 400, 450 at most. What are they, 12.5? I think you'll be able to get one for 10. I think the basement on that game is around like 10. I think it'll hold around like 10. Maybe a little lower. It's not going to be like Godfather CEs losing $6,000. All right, barrels of fun. Thank you. We'll move on to barrels. Then, I got to end this show in a little bit. Here's the thing about barrels of fun. I just don't see much conversation happening. I don't know, like, where the dunes are going. They just aren't going into people's homes. Has anyone unboxed a barrels of fun? Like, literally the owners club doesn't even have, not only does it not have 2 pages, it doesn't even have like 8 posts in it. So I'm still confused. I'm still very confused why this company released the game when they did. I don't feel like anyone's getting any of them. It is an absolute, like, reveal and nothing's going out to people. But I heard they're selling, like, decently. I was talking to a major distributor, they sold 40 of them. I mean, that's just one distro selling 40 games is not bad. Forget Dune, discuss their next. Well, I'm under this, like, NDA, so, like, I don't know what's next. I have to assume they have Goonies, and I have to assume they have Goonies, and all the teasing it in plain sight stuff has all been part of that. I've heard multiple times that Goonies is an open license that ostensibly more than one company can make it. But I also know that, like, the licensing issues with Goonies might make it difficult to make the game, so maybe they're not even gonna make it. Getting all the actors and getting their approval is probably extremely difficult. Um, I don't know. I don't like I don't think boutiques of this nature can kind of there like, you can't launch a game like this. It just doesn't work. So I still don't know how to evaluate Dune. I think it's still a game that's, like, too early for release. Yeah, what happened to you saying, "Yeah, I think someone said they saw a big pirate ship," and you know what it is, Brian? I don't know. I don't know. You know how much bad information I get at times? Kaneda in heaven. Welcome to Rowan in Connecticut. Got my custom, it says it on my hat too. See? I love this town. This is heaven. This is heaven on earth. My wedding song was Heaven on Earth, Belinda Carlisle. That was our first dance, Brenda and I. And I'll tell you I've always loved this song, but I'll tell you the thing we saw that just, like, it kind of had both of us in tears, like, in a good way. I love Brenda more than anything. And there's that one Black Mirror episode where these two women, like, fall in love with each other, and one's an old woman, and the the place they choose to meet back, because they in the Black Mirror episode, you can kind of you can dream so vividly that it makes it feel real, and you can go visit someone you loved at another time in your life that was just magic, right, in heaven, and they decide to meet up in a 1980s simulated world with arcades and Jeep Wranglers, and they're right on the beach, and this song just plays at the end, "Heaven is a place on earth," and it's just like, I don't know, you get thinking about, how especially when you have kids, like, how fast time flies, and how, I don't know, we waste so much time, and, like, when you find someone or something you love, like, and, we all dream that, like, we could always find each other again in that beautiful time. And I think what always makes me feel so, like, nostalgic for, like, that time was just the the ability to be present in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just were there. You didn't watch it on YouTube. You didn't record it on your phone. We were just there. And we didn't know, what sucks is, like, we didn't know then, like, that all that would be robbed from us. And so if I could go back with Brenda and, I loved, like, our falling in love with that girl in New York City was, like, the greatest, like, time of my life, and, well, you know what? I take that back. I feel like now I'm just with children, I just love being happy and waking up in next to someone that is everything, and my point was about the song "Heaven is a Place on Earth," but anyway, you should watch that episode. It's called, like, San Gennaro or something like that. Kaneda can't get into heaven. Ever since he asks, "Where's the magic?" Um, where were we? We were talking about Dune. So, yeah, Dune. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how Barrels of Fun just gets the enthusiasm for this game back. Um, San Junipero. Yep. Z- I gotta say, and then we're gonna wrap up in a little bit because I gotta go get Killian ready for. He's marching in the Memorial Day parade, and he's marching with his T-ball team. It's adorable. Dune Flipper was broken after a couple of plays. Someone sent me a photo of King Kong's arm fell off. So look, things happen in games, like things break. The days of like something mechanically goes wrong with the pin and we scream like like they're all gonna fall apart. It's not true. Memorial Day weekend. I love it. I love it. I love this country. I do. I can't lie. It's, it's a the world's much better than the world you read about on the news. It really is. The media has been slanted so negative to make everybody afraid to just like step outside. I mean, there's always bank holidays in Europe. It's ridiculous. You ever go to Europe? You ever see how many bank holidays are in Europe? Try to get someone working in August in Europe. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about those who served and sacrifices that were made. And anyone who studies history is just it's mind-boggling to me that and again, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a soapbox here, but these stupid kids on these college campuses that are basically the biggest, most cynical, most crybaby. They're in America. Let's think about this. They're in America with the greatest education institutions at their disposal. They can, instead of trying to make America better or embracing where they are, or realizing how lucky they have it, they complain about everything. They hate the country. They say, "Go live somewhere else. Go see how it is. Go see what opportunities are there for you somewhere else." There's just it's so easy to be here and complain about being here because we give you the freedom to complain about being here. That's the beauty of America, right? And I do believe in free speech and, absolutely, like, the whole point of free speech is that we will protect the speech that we don't wanna hear, like, you need to. But that being said, I can still judge you. I can still think you're a jackass, and I could still say, "If you don't like it here, go, leave." The amount of people I mean, I deal with this all the time too, like, at work, they're just you could just tell this, like, anti-American sentiment, and it's weird to me because you always gotta put the country above a political figure. Like, America's bigger than any political party or any politician. America is a melting pot. America is a very diverse place that no other country in the world even comes close to reflecting what this country is. Now, some people are, "Oh, it's better in Sweden, it's better in" okay, you wanna go to Sweden where there's only, like, 9,000,000 people, a monochromatic society. There's twice as many people in New York City. That's what I'm saying, when you travel the world, I do think this, I think when you travel the world, you will definitely have a newfound appreciation for America, but you'll also definitely realize some of the things we need to work on, and I definitely agree with that. I think Americans are, like, way too stressed out. We work way too hard. I do believe we have way too many guns in the country. Like, what's everybody got? Why do we need, like, all these guns? Like, who's everybody fighting? It's way too easy to get your hands on stuff like that. I there's just we drive way too big of a vehicle. Do you ever see the size of the cars everywhere else in the world? What are we doing? Why are we plowing down the street in these, like, monstrosities, and most of the time, there's nobody in them? No, I don't know. I get to look, your perspective is all about where you are. I see Brendan getting the kids ready. I hope it doesn't rain. It's starting to get, like I yesterday's one of those days where the car was clean, it was sunny, I went for a walk into the village to get Killian some ice cream, and then all of a sudden, it just starts downpouring, and I left my car out. I'm like, "Oh gosh." Ah, the Demon's a the Demon's a four-seater, though. It's not a the reason the Demon is America, American muscle cars. I don't know. Like, these big SUVs that lose so much value. It's crazy. You think pins lose money? Go buy, like, a fully loaded, like, SUV for, like, $140,000 and see what it's worth in 4 years. It'll be worth, like, 60. Anyway, everybody, look, I know we didn't cover every company. Everybody, like, have a great weekend. Thank you for being, here hanging out. We got to talk a decent amount about pinball, a little bit about life. You know how it is here. Um, I really do think we're gonna get a lot of stuff. Predator, Potter. We didn't even talk about Totems coming back from Pedretti Gaming any day now. There's just a lot. Medieval Madness Merlin editions are gonna ship when? I don't know. But man, It's 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 about to get it's oversaturated. I think the oversaturation is leading to a lot of people's somewhat, you know, it's like Kong's not bad at all, but, like, I still think a lot more people are walking up to games now being like, you kind of know you don't wanna buy it, so you're gonna see the game through that lens of like, you're gonna look for reasons why you don't wanna buy it. Because these games are not giving you enough to wanna pull the trigger on it right away. And I think that's where we're at. And I think for games to really be like, "Oh, I gotta own this," you've gotta have more of an experience, I think, when people are walking up to, like, an Evil Dead, versus a King Kong. I mean it. I just mean it. When I saw Evil Dead for the first time, I was like, "Wow," like, it really stood out. Didn't feel that way about Avatar. Didn't feel that way about Kong. Didn't feel that way about D&D. I just think we're there now. Like, it needs to be it needs to have that extra something, and I just don't think Kong has it. All right. What about Turner? No, I mean, no one Merlin's Arcade, they're not selling more than like 100 of those. Like Chris Turner, he needs to call me up, make me a salaried employee. There's something weird going on with Chris Turner and Deeproot though, too. What I mean by that, like he's like in on the Deeproot court filings. Like I don't know if like Robert Mueller is like still connected to him somehow. I don't know. It's just there's like this weird thing with like was he just like delivering the snacks to Deeproot? Now he's got a pinball like what is the what what's going on? I don't know. There's something behind all of it. But I gotta go be a family man. All right, everybody, be good. Time to get Killian into the parade. He's marching with the T-ball team. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. And join the club. If you're not a Kaneda Pinball Podcast Club member, please just join. $5, no tariffs. Let's do this. Bye.